I'm going to run everything like we did last class. Okay, going to run everything like we did last class, and thank God because since I was using Jason's system, I was just hearing audio, so that distance I have to convert it to audio and send to you, but it make too much of space. So I'll just do a very quick run through of what we did last time. We talked about AutoCAD, and basically for our course, we are specific on AutoCAD 3D. I hope everyone has AutoCAD on their system right now. Okay, because we're going, Mark, you have to get a mouse. I can't give you my mouse because it's USB. Or do you have connector? Give me your connector. Yeah, you are an interesting fella, aren't you? Okay, so I said AutoCAD is a CAD software. It's used for um, drawings and notations by engineers, architects, and stuff. So basically, except for Mike, when you open AutoCAD, this is what you're welcome with. Um, you want to create a new file. Since we are basically working with 3D, I'm going to stick to the 3D interface. I would advise that you guys watch the other line tools and the rest, because so at some point we will have to draw. I don't want to have to start teaching all over again. It's not part of our course outline, because but you will need to understand it. So we're going to create a new file, and I want you to use um, ACAD 3D.dwt. ACAD 3D.dwt. No, you under templates where you have templates. Mm. So, yeah, ACAD. Yeah, ACAD 3D.dwt. That one. So that's the one we're going to start with. That's what we're specific with. I told you all this ISO. ISO is if you are doing drawing that has international standard. Maybe somebody did a drawing and gave you to interpret. So you want to use this. It comes up with some setup for you. Okay. So this is what we are faced with by default. So in our menu, I think I did this setup for us last class, this crosshair. In your crosshair, how is it just like this? Because I set it up earlier. It's still trying to open. Ah, everyone's got the templates. Jason, check it out for him, please. Your stuff is still loaded. It's loaded. Wait, it's what's the name of what? I say ACAD 3D. Okay. So yours isn't, yes, it's loaded, but drawing templates. So your crosshairs you need to change so that it's long crosshairs like this. If not, you can. It looks like your coordinate system. Are we done? Very good. I think you should open a file. Listen to what I'm saying. That's not an open file. I said check from your templates. Listen to my open file and open create from templates. Don't sound alike. So for you to change your crosshair. That's that guy, because right now yours looks funny. Go to that A. Let me have that A. A, the big A, the red A. That is the application menu. And check for options. Oh, oh, Mark. Hello. So come here and go to preferences then. No, not really like that. You're using 2018 version. That's why. I don't know. Probably not. So this is your cursor. So this crosshairs change it to 100%. Mm. So that's what we changed there. Right. And it will take another 3 years to do that. Okay, so it's changed too. All right. Okay, so I guess we're all here now. Um, a very quick overview of the navigation in AutoCAD. We have the navigation with the mouse. We have navigation with the navigation bar here. Remember, this is called our ribbon. It's our ribbon tabs. This is not menus. These are not menus. They are ribbon tabs. This is a ribbon. So each of these guys change. They have things under them. This is your application menu. So where you have that new open, all those things, filing and stuff, is right here and open stuff. This is your command line and your status bar. This is your command line, meaning you can type any command here and it will run. And this is your status bar. These are your paper spaces. Basically, this is your model space where you create your models. Then these layouts, one, layout, two, are called paper spaces. They are for paper, for print. So when you're printing something out, like you can see, it is already showing the view of whatever my model space is showing here. And you can add as many paper spaces because you may want to show up your drawings from different orthographic views. So basically for that. And this is our view cube. It helps us to navigate around the scene. And this is our navigation bar. So navigating around your workspace in AutoCAD is primarily dependent on the middle mouse button, MMB. So clicking on the middle mouse button and dragging will pan your screen or pan your camera because you are in a camera view right now. Clicking on middle mouse. Holding shift and middle mouse will orbit your view, orbit your camera. That is the normal orbit. There's something called free orbit, which requires, and I need to draw something first before you see it, but it requires control, shift, and the middle mouse. It's still an orbit, but it will create a ring in the middle of the scene. So when you orbit within the middle of the scene, it orbits freely. If you orbit while clicking on any of these middle points here, it orbits other kind of way, right? You can always click on this home to return back to how your view is supposed to be, this home tab. And so that's for panning, orbiting. Then for dolly or zooming, you roll your middle mouse in and out. That's just for that. So if you don't have a mouse like Mike, you use this guy. This is your pan. So you click on it to pan your screen. It's your normal click. Click on this guy. This one. So 2018. Yakari. All right, wait first. Let's kind of let's see. Okay, no, that's for tabs. Yeah, let me put it there somewhere. One second. Interesting. 2018. Was it not on that time? It did not exist then. It did. I can't remember. 2018 is looking like a very long time ago. It's almost 10 years. And so a lot of things will have changed. Holy crap. Um, Let me just type. Let me type. Ah, all right. I don't know. Okay. Now we'll figure it out. And look, for now, use your view cube. So, but this is to navigate, this is to zoom, this is to orbit. So if you don't have either of them, like you don't have, you can use your view cube. So just come to your view cube and rotate around your view cube. You can select your view cube and turn like this to orbit. You can click on a particular view to show a particular section. Come to the home to do that. So basically, you can use your view cube. All right. So I talked about AutoCAD primarily working with the isometric view, that is an axonometric view, meaning not showing um, this is vanishing points. For drafting, you don't draw in perspective. It's going to be very difficult for you. You need to draw in an axonometric view where there's no vanishing point, because then axonometric views maintain the actual sizing of the object. Perspective doesn't. It shows the further the object is from you, the thinner or the smaller it gets. So you can't really measure that. If you want to switch between the views, if you right click on your view cube, you will see perspective and parallel view. The parallel view is isometric view. Right now, this in your AutoCAD 3D.wc will come up in perspective. You can switch to parallel to give you a parallel view of very straight or postgres. It looks weird, but this is the best way to draw. Okay, so I'm going to use mostly parallel view for our drawings. All right. Are we good? So we can move on, right? We've done some setup. Um, in AutoCAD 3D, you or by default, your this thing should set change to 3D. If it doesn't change to 3D, you can change the workspace to 3D modeling from your um, cogwheel there. You should see 3D modeling to change your workspace. And it should be 3D modeling. If you use ACAD 3D by default, it should already be there. Okay, so change to 3D modeling because the ribbons change definitely. What about yours? Let's see. No, your own is good you're saying here because your own is special. So here we have drafting. So we have drafting, we have modeling here. We just switch like this. Okay. And in 20, I'm surprised because this. thing changed in 2015. Yes, yeah, 20 month AutoCAD entry. 2020 or 2020. I know, okay, I think it was 2020 more or less. I didn't see it to download for you. So the ribbon shifted up here, so that's more stuff, but not a problem. Can still work with what we have here. Okay. Okay. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw. Why not? Why not draw? We've done all these guys. Navigation, 3D workspace, blah, 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 blah. We have covered them. I talked about viewports the last class. Right, so should I do a refresher for that before we draw? Okay, let me do a very quick refresher for our viewports. So right now, this is, uh, in quotes, our perspective view, but generally this is isometric view. So, but this, let's say this is our 3D view. The view where you can orbit around and see the object at an angle of anything above 90 degrees. That's this view. And from our training, we had something called orthographic views that shows 90 degrees of the object, like looking at an object from a different perspective. So if, for instance, let me just take a cube, a box, and click and create a box here. So I have a box right now, my scene, and drawing in AutoCAD, moving in AutoCAD and everything else is very different from what you're already used to. So to get some getting used to. All right. So now here I can change my views by switching this one in the middle here. This one here will tell me to change my viewports. This one here will tell me to change my view, as in what I am seeing at that point, that's per view. And this one will tell me to change my visual style of how I am seeing my view. So let me start with here, viewports. Right now we're having a singular viewport. So if you are in 3D view, you can access this list by clicking on that dash and go to viewport configuration, or you go under visualize and you see the same method here, viewport configuration. So this is just a little bit more uh, interesting. So for instance, I want to see the typical viewport that I will see in every 3D software. So that's a 4 view. So I click on these 4 views and it shows me the 4 views. I can now change this one probably to top view, change this one to left view or right view, and change this one to front view. So they all look similar, but they are not the same. They all look similar, but they are not the same. And how you know they are not the same is if I take maybe a cylinder now and draft one here. Good. So we see in all these views, the cylinder is appearing in different places here. So I have my cylinder here. Supposedly, this is a top view. So, but looking at it, it looks like if the rectangle is on top of the cylinder. So, but yeah, but I'm looking at the top view. So I'm 90 degrees above the object, looking down on the object. This I'm 90 degrees beside the object on the left view. So if this is the object, this is the left view based on my own left, what I am seeing. So in this view here, we have our axis, right? We have our axis, we have our y, x, and z. So it looks as if I'm standing on the right side of the object and looking towards the left, or I am looking from my own left, my left side, because in 3D, it's not like a mirror scenario. If an object is facing you, if this is your right hand, it is not the object's right, it is its own left. So, and if this is your left, that is the object's right. So, you're looking at it not like a mirror scenario. You're looking at it as if you are standing in front of somebody physically. So, if I'm looking at Mike now, this is my right hand. I can't tell him, raise your right hand. This is his right hand here. So, this would be his left hand. So, that's how 3D works as well. So, left view, and this is important to remember because it confuses people a lot. In the say left view, you think about the object's left, or you think about something else and you can use the wrong view. Why this is important is when you enter a software like Maya or 3ds Max, it has side view, but it has, when it separates it to left and right, if you are not accurate with your image planes, let me give you an example. Let me give a very quick example here. Look at these two images. This is front views, right? And these are side views. Which of these views is left view or right view? Because in a 3D software, if you pick the wrong view to model the object, you will. Are you okay? You're hot. Okay. So if you pick the wrong view to model that face, your model will become flat. So you have to know what view that person is facing. So looking at this model now, if this is the front, or if that is the front facing side, right? This will be my right, but the object's left. And this will be my left, but the object's right. So looking at this from this view, it means I am standing on the object's right, looking towards the left. So this will be left view. Left view, doesn't, or basically, if I'm looking at the object, where is my own left? That place I'm standing, so left view. So generally, the view is where you are looking at. Front view is your front view because you are looking at the front. You are looking towards the front. So the left view, I'm looking towards the left. So I'm looking, going towards the x-axis, that's leftwards. Okay, and this one will be, this is left view. This one will be right view. I'm looking towards its right. So when you're picking the image planes, you want to be sure you're picking the correct view. Otherwise, your model will not come out nicely. So I've done a lot of those experiments with students. I don't know whether I will have the time to do it with you guys. I tell you, try it and choose any view you like and see what happens. But I don't think we'll do that. So looking at this object is very obvious. The cylinder is in front of the box, cylinder in front of the box. On the left view, the cylinder is like on the right. So it's like I'm standing right here on this point, looking towards the side. Then this is the front view. So this is a 3D modeling ideology. You want to have 4 views so that when you are modeling or creating an object in 3D space, you want to see it from different angles. So this is a viewport configuration. If you don't want to see 4, maybe you want to see 2 small views and 1 long view here, You can still come to where that cross is and pick anyone. You can do three. That is, let's go three left. So you have a full one here and you have two small ones here. So whatever view you want to check, you can always come in here and change. It doesn't automatically select the best options of views. So you have to decide what you want, what view you want to see. Is that good? Are we good? Is everyone good? I hope so. I mean, are you good? All right. You guys should watch any video I place for you people to watch, especially these recordings. I don't know how many people of you watch those recordings. But please watch them. It's not, otherwise, I won't bother recording. I'm not recording for myself. I'm not using it. I can't post these recordings online because there are points where I'm quiet. There are points where I'm asking questions. So I can't put that online. Okay, so when I post it, it's for you, your own consumption, not for my benefit. All right. So the visual styles, like I said, here, this realistic. You can also find them under visualize, or even in your home tab, you can see it up here. Mike, are you okay? You are trying. Are you okay? You're not sure. You are okay. Uh, Don't say amen. Are you okay? Say yes. Okay, good. You say you're not sure, so now so you will be not sure. So your words are powerful, universe. So these visual styles here that we click here that shows these guys in text form, you can see it here as in the image forms. So you can switch to any visual style for whatever purpose you want to use the your design for. So any of those visual styles, you can use them, and it's for your benefit while designing. It doesn't really affect, like I said, it doesn't affect the finished work. It's just for your design view. You just want to work easier or work easily. Those are the visual styles. Okay, and let me leave it back and let me give it in shades of gray and whatever. Now we talked about the coordinate system. I want to talk about this before we now get into the drawing. Um, it's 3D, so we're working with the X, Y, and Z plane. But in AutoCAD and 3ds Max, the way the 3D is interpreted is kind of funny. The z-axis is supposed to be pointing towards me or towards you. The x-axis should be pointing horizontally, the y-axis should be pointing upwards. But on these softwares, it's kind of the z-axis is pointing upwards, the y-axis is pointing towards you or away from you, the x-axis is pointing this. So it's not an error in the setup. It's based on the world coordinates, basically because of the paper you are using. Remember I said normal graph sheets that you are using, normal flat planes, when you draw, it's facing you like this, right? Y is up, X is sideways. So for these softwares, because it's a drafting software, so it's imagining you are now having to draw on that paper, but you lie the paper flat down. So once you lie the paper flat down, Y was pointing up. So when you lie down, it's pointing forward, no more up. So the z-axis I was pointing to you now turns upwards. So that is why the coordinate system is like this. But the user coordinate system here in AutoCAD is dynamic, as in it's adaptive, meaning I can switch it. Okay, sorry, it's on. I was seeing the thing recording. Sorry. Okay, no, voila. So you can switch your user coordinates based on how you want to draw, because the way AutoCAD works, it will not draw by default on any other plane unless you're on the YX plane or XY plane. So anything you draw will draw flat on the XY plane. It won't draw on the Z plane. So if I want to draw something standing facing me, like I want to draw a circle, for instance, like this circle, now if I click it and start drawing a circle, it's going to draw it on the flat uh, XY plane. If I want to draw it like on the Z, like if the circle is standing up, it will not allow me by default to draw on that Z plane unless I use a specific coordinate system or I use a dynamic coordinate system. So I can, in my coordinates here, where we have this in our home tab, we have different coordinate functions here. Okay, so here we have view, right? If I click on the arrow here, I have view, I have object, and I have face for coordinate system. So like if I choose view, let me go into, let's go into front view for instance. So this is front view. If I take this circle and draw, you see it's now drawing in the front because I'm on view. But if I switch back to world coordinates, okay, and draw, you see how the circle is drawn now. It's not facing me again, it's facing up. It's facing that upside. So it's like I'm drawing a line. So when you change to view, it draws an object based on how you are viewing the system at that moment. So if I come back to the SW isometric, you now see I have these two circles being drawn from different uh, angles, and they look kind of weird within themselves. So don't mind the glitching. That glitching is occurring because of my system. So this one is drawn facing this angle. This one is drawn facing this angle. So you say you can change your coordinate system. You can change your coordinate system if you want to. So, like now, this is my Z. This is my X. This is my Y. I can take my Z and change it, as you can see, like this, to readjust the coordinate system. You just have to be careful with that one. You just have to be very careful with that one. So that's how you can play around with your coordinate system. So drawing on coordinates are important in our design here. Like I said, AutoCAD here is a very specific uh, software. Whatever you are doing, it requires you to know exactly where you are doing it and how it will be done. It's not freelance drawing here. So, right, let's get to. Hope we're good. All right, so there's a coordinate system I've not talked about, the dynamic coordinate system. So I will just let us put it here so that when we want to talk about it, we can access it. So come to this place where we have this three options and make sure dynamic input or dynamic UCS is turned on. So click on dynamic UCS, make sure it's on. So that's this one with the thunder clap. Dynamic UCS, that is dynamic user coordinate system. So UCS is user coordinate system, WCS is world coordinate system. Mm, just for, let's see. Okay, you can turn on units if you don't know the units you're working with yet. You can turn on units. Normally, you can turn on everything here. Just like to make your status bar very job. You don't really need that. Another thing you should turn on coordinates. This is the first one. Yeah, turn on coordinates. Try to tell you where your drawing is located at a point in time. So once you're done, just close. Anytime you want to turn on or off anything, you can come back there and do that. So for now, this is what we're going to use. So anywhere your mouse is moving, you see the coordinates reading for you because it helps to tell you where exactly you are drawing on the space. Right. I also posted a document for us because AutoCAD has so many shortcuts, so many, too many. But I picked out the most basic ones to remember that use function keys, use number keys and control and some basic functions. AutoCAD has a lot of shortcuts because almost anything you can think about as a command, AutoCAD has it. So it has a lot of shortcuts because of that. So um, for that purpose, I wrote this one, like your function keys now. This will help you. There are some of these toggles here that you can activate with the function keys. There are some toggles that are not here that we didn't activate by bringing them here, but you can get them for your function keys. So like for instance, F1 is a help menu. It's almost the same in almost every software. F1 will give you the help menu where um, things about AutoCAD options like stuff. So because I didn't, when I downloaded this, the software I used, the help menu I downloaded with it worked with 2020, one and 2025. At some reason why my own stopped working. So I had to get this 2024. So now I have to go and download the offline help or just get it directly from online. So F1 will get you the help menu. Okay, and you have all these other guys. F2 is your command line. This is your command line, right? So it's showing now. If you press F2, it will disappear. Most times we don't need it to disappear. You need it there at least, so that you see what you are commanding or what you are typing. Then F3 is your object snap. O snap means object snap. That's when you are drawing two objects that are side by side, you can snap one object to the other. Same thing like what your smart guides will do in Illustrator when you are, or Photoshop, when you are dragging two objects, you'll be seeing those pink lines appearing. So that's your O snap toggle. Your O snap toggle, you can also get it from here. You just click on this arrow and you see the different O snap or object snap options. There are a lot of O snap options. F4 is for 3D object snap. That's F3 is basic line drawings. F4 is for 3D object snap. F5 is isometric plane. We're in isometric plane. F6 is the dynamic UCS, that one that we just added. So it will only turn it on and off, but to remove it from the status bar. F7 is your grid. Right now my grid is off, so I'll turn it on. F8 is ortho mode. Ortho mode allows you draw a line in perfect 90-degree angles. So either a straight line on 0 degrees or on 90 degrees. That's what ortho mode does. It is this one here, this one that shows the angle. So that's this guy here. That's ortho mode. Then F9 snap mode, that one is just snapping, not really specific. Then polar tracking, then O-snap tracking, and dynamic input. Dynamic input is that thing that I said you just type any word anywhere and the command will come out. So if you don't want that, if you want to only be typing in your command line, you can turn off your dynamic input. Okay. So I don't usually advise that, but at some point you might need to do that. And then these ones are some hidden palettes, properties, design center, tools, palettes, and calculator, and blah, 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 and some other concepts here. So I put this up, this document also on the Google Drive or the classroom. I specifically didn't put it in the files I gave you because I want you to take advantage of the Google Classroom. So you should get it downloaded into your system. It's just a page, one page of document, and you can work with it on beside you. All right. So I want to turn on my grid. So F7, which is this guy, can turn it off like this, turn it back on. So or use F7 to turn it off and turn it on. So let's start by drawing parametric or our primitive objects, our 3D objects. So these are our 3D objects. Click on the arrow, you have all of them. These ones are already, how will I put it now? They are already detailed 3D objects. So I'm going to teach you how to draw in AutoCAD now. But in case you forget, AutoCAD is because it's very complex, it has a lot of ways of doing a lot of things. It has this full tooltip, this elevated tooltip that kind of gives you not just the text, but at least a pictorial idea of how to use that tool in case you forget. So please take advantage of it. So let's draw a box. Let's see how to draw a box. So click on the box. Okay. Have we done that? Yeah. And just come to the scene. Don't do anything yet. You should see specify first corner, or you see a coordinate right there. So that coordinate is on this grid. There might be a specific place you want to place that box based on a drawing that you've been given. So you input that number. So this is for the X, that is for the Y coordinates. Remember, just the same way we've been doing everything. The first number is what it will represent. Your first point, XY, then your second point, XY, generally. So to activate it, what you do is you have a measurement. When you type the first number, you separate it by a comma. Once you use a comma, it jumps to the next grid. If you use an @ sign, it will give you a specific point on the grid. Then, apart from that, if you look in the command line, we have center. That means draw from center. It's just like how you draw from center in Illustrator. When you hold Alt and drag, it draws from center. So, when you draw your box from center, you can use that as well. So, the shortcut to get it is C. In the command line, anything that is blue, that is the short key to activate center. Let me draw a normal box first. So I'll just click anywhere. Click first to activate the first point, and then don't click and drag. Just click. Click anywhere, yes. Once your mouse moves away, it is going to be trying to detect the size or the width or length of the box. So specify the other corner by clicking wherever you feel you want the box to stop. Once you, I just talked about visual styles now. What is visual styles doing? Is it showing 2D wireframe? You can see it from here now. These views there. You see whatever is showing to tell you from there. If you're showing light, you'll be showing 3D wireframe. What's your own showing light? It's showing imagery. Okay, good. So click then release. Click then release up to determine the height. Then click again. So you need to click 3 times to get the box. Let me see. I will set it. Why? It's in realistic view now. He's not he's not 3D model now. He's in 2D drafting mode. Yeah, not following this class. Change to 3D modeling. Yeah, this is box. It's realistic. So once you click the box, it's going to show the box. So hmm, this modeling is when you create a new file, you have to make sure your workspace is actually 3D because in that view that you were in, there's no box there. It's line. So you have to change yeah, to 3D modeling. Yeah. No. Even if you change, you use a drawing template, sometimes you can still adjust the workspace. Because even if you did AutoCAD.dwt, normal one, you can still change the workspace. So that one is like default value. So do we get the cube drawing? Create the first point. Create the second point to determine the width and the depth, right? So when you create the first corner, the second corner, then you specify a height and then click. So you need 3 clicks to draw the cube or the box according to AutoCAD. So it's called box. Is it? The one is going to be like a box. Okay. So that is using drawing the basic drawing one. But if I click that and use center instead, so once I click and drag, it's going to draw from the center. Then I can now specify a corner before that center, and now the height is also from the center. So that I said, just like how you do it in Illustrator by holding Alt and dragging while um, drawing. Okay, so I made a box. Okay, so now that's the box. Very straightforward design. The same thing with the cylinder. The cylinder, you specify, when you click on the cylinder, specify the center point of base, or you can use any of these options. Now, what AutoCAD advises for you to do is anytime you take a tool to use, check your command line for the operations of that tool. It gives you, almost every tool has a different operation style. dependent on what you are trying to achieve. So we have like 3P, 2P, CTR, elliptical. So 3 points, 2 points, tangential or elliptical. So can be very weird, but most of those guys will work good if you have a measurement to work with. So since I don't have any measurement, let's just go basic. Click just like you did with the box. Click the first point and determine the tangent or the length of the radius, the diameter, and then when you get one, click and then you determine the height. Then you click. You determine the height. The Indians don't use that word actually, determine the height. So they specify the height of the cylinder, and then you click here, and then catch. It's go. They always add their language somewhere. If you don't like it, you can do your own, speak your language. Yeah. I was thinking about that, doing a tutorial in my own native language. These are tribal. Okay, so that's cylinder very uh, similar to all this goes. So primary drawing, every tool here, draw a cone, same thing, specify the size of the cone, then you specify the thickness there of the cone there. Mhm. So, but there's something about cone here. Uh, you have all this, yes? So if I draw this and I specify my diameter, now before I drag the height, I can also still come here and change something. I can change my top radius. That's the radius of the top. Right now it's a sharp point. So you can change the top radius to have something like a taper, you understand? So it's not sharp. So you can create a taper feel of your cone instead. So let me draw it again. So I specify this, I click that. Then while I'm drawing this, or while I'm dragging for this, I can press T for top radius so that it gives me a different kind of design. So I'm not trying to really draw a sharp-edged cone, and then I can specify the height now. So that's why I said looking at the command line is also important, because there are some of these objects that if you don't follow the command line, the shape you are trying to achieve, you may not get it. So to try that. So basically, so every other object similar. The only guy that has just one way of drawing, like the sphere, the pyramid, similar to that one. It's like drawing a box, but then drawing a cone at the same time. So you draw the size of the box, and we have what we call inscribe and circumscribe. Inscribe means the box is going to come out within the parameters of a circle. So let's say, let me on the board now. An inscribed drawing is if there's a circle like this, right? Inscribed means the corners of the box will be inscribed within the circle. Circumscribed is the circle will be generated, yes, inside the box. So basically, this kind of stuff. So right now, we'll just draw this box and draw up, And then you can still do that same thing with top radius. If you don't want to make a sharp edge, you can click on T and now make it have a flat top instead of a sharp top. So let me draw this one first. Then do the same thing. And while I'm dragging, press T to give it a sharp top so that I can have that wedge kind of feel. I'm checking the Nigerian pyramid. Okay. They say you're kidding. Yeah, I know. So, all these guys are straightforward drawings, but specifically focusing on the command line. The wedge is similar. You draw the first point, okay, signify the depth, and then you specify the height of the wedge. So, so you can use that to create uh, 3D wedge. The last one, which is always very funny to draw, is the torus or the donut. You draw the circle first to get the radius, then you draw this one to get the thickness. Mm. So that will form a torus ring. So you first of all determine the diameter with a basic circle and then the roundness of that. So I guess we have drawings, like we have all these drawings on our system, right? At least 4 or 5, at least some of them. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I want to go into something very crucial. In AutoCAD, how do you select an object and move it? Or how do you select an object? That is not the way you know. The who? What does a mesh do? What is a what what is a mesh? Yes. So what is a mesh? No, what is a mesh first? That's the question. What is a mesh? Ah, so a mesh is a shape, just a shape. Okay, no worry. Go and read again. So, all right. Now we have all these guys jam-packed on my scene. I want to separate them. I want to select a few of them and move them to certain places. Like for instance, uh, this guy is kind of hidden. So I want to move it here, and I want to move this one as well, and move this one as well. So AutoCAD has some very funny ways of selecting tools. Uh, very funny ways. We have uh, the selection that picks the objects at once. They have the ones that only picks the objects that are completely engulfed in the rectangle, and then you can click. But now by default in AutoCAD, if you want to click multiple objects, you don't need to hold Shift or Control. Just click, click, click to pick. Question now is how to unclick, because you can't click in the space. So, right. So to unclick in AutoCAD is just escape. So I pick this. I don't need to press shift. If I click the second object, it picks it. If I pick the third object, it picks it. If I keep picking. So if I want to uncheck this object now, clicking on it does not unclick it. I want to uncheck all of them. Clicking in the empty space will not uncheck it. So to unclick, firstly, you just press escape on your keyboard and it comes. Escape is like the most general thing in AutoCAD to stop anything. If I was drawing something and I decided I'm not drawing anymore, escape. If I clicked and I decided I clicked the wrong thing, escape. Okay. Yep. Control Z. I think it heard, it wanted me to come, according to Jason, it's scared of the face. But Control Z is just basic. If while you are drawing, right, like let's say I'm drawing this guy, and I realize I'm still in the drawing mode, I've not finished drawing mode, so I can't Control Z. I just got to escape. So Control Z will only occur. I've finished that command, then I can Control Z. But while in the space of the command of or any working command, Control Z won't work. It works after you've accomplished whatever you were doing. Yeah. So, right. Yeah. See, when you activate the cone method, your pyramid, let me say pyramid, and you click and drag, after you've done whatever inscribed stuff, once you are dragging the height, before you click it, there's options here. So C is the one that talks about the top radius, the height of the top. So axis endpoints is based on the angles and these 2 points. So let's say top radius, the shortcut is T. I could bring my mouse to drag it there, but because it's down, it will think I'm drawing this guy downward when I'm coming here. So I will start from here. Just press C for that top radius and enter. And then you can now determine the distance of the radius. Yeah. Then once you get that, you click. So in AutoCAD, two commands that are very repetitive, that they occur every time and they help in your drawings, is escape and enter. Enter is to accept what you've done. Escape is to escape, obviously, from what you've done. You're really that. Okay, so I was saying something. So to select, like I said, you select multiple objects just by clicking. So you press escape to unselect. If you select an object you want to unselect it, you hold shift to deselect it, like out of many things. So like I was saying, so I don't want this guy, hold shift to minus from the selection. So you hold shift to add to the selection, or you just click to pick it up. So, but now to move, when you click, now AutoCAD is not a drag and drop kind of software. Like in Illustrator or Photoshop, you select an object, you click and drag to drop it somewhere. So click on the axis. Like now, I want to move this guy here. So I already have my axis handles and I have my axis bands. Remember, the axis band is like axis planes. When we're doing 3Ds, and I showed you what those guys mean, right? Remember, so I want to move this guy to this side. So that means I'm moving on the x-axis. So I just click on the red arrow. I'm not clicking again on the mouse. I just move to where I want it to be, and I click to leave it there. So I can now escape to deselect it. Or shift that. I click this, move this guy here. So shift, deselect. So that is how to move in AutoCAD. Now for us that we did one setting last class, that enter setting that we did with right mouse click. So if you press enter, or right now nothing is selected, if I press enter or click on my right mouse button, it will take me to the last tool I used while I was moving or while I was drawing, whatever tool I used. The last thing I did was pyramid. So pressing enter, or I mean my left mouse, right mouse button will take it back to the pyramid that I was drawing before. So if it was something else that will happen last, that's what it will take me into. Yeah. So there's no like uh, redraw or repeat your last command. If my last command was to delete, if I press enter or right click, it would ask to repeat that command, that delete command. If I moved or if I rotated, or I did whatever command I did, trimmed something or stuff, or added a an offset to an object. Once I press enter or right click, it will repeat last command. It will take me back to last command. Now, if you use your up or down arrow key, like now I'm in my pyramid, so if I go up, you see I'm toggling through everything I have done so far while we started. So I like, okay, I want to draw a cylinder again. So I've come back to cylinder. So I can now press enter, select to start drawing the cylinder all over again. I want to get back to maybe when I drew the cube, I just do up again, the up arrow, and I look for where the box is. So that's a box. So I click and I can now draw my box again. So this coordinates, did you do coordinates? When you press up, did you change coordinates at one point? It will not, it AutoCAD will only do what you have done before, show you what you've done before. So So these um, commands I'm showing are, they make it easier for us. They make it easier for us while working so that I don't always have to go to my ribbon every time. You know, there are times you're using a system like Mac system. I've dealt with three people, different people this week. One's name is Mike, the other one's name is Mark, the next one is Max. So sometimes it's confusing. So when you're using a system small like that, when you're using a system like that, a small system, you may want to have as much workspace as possible. So you may want to hide your ribbon so that you have more drawing space. So because you're hiding your ribbon, you want to get used to these shortcuts. Okay, so it's very important. Are we good? Can I go on? Okay. So we did the normal selection of clicking the object. AutoCAD has the window selection as well that makes you select using the marquee, but there are two marquees. There's a blue and the green marquee. Clicking and dragging to your right creates the blue marquee. To your left is the green marquee. The blue marquee only selects objects that fall into that marquee. Anything that doesn't fall into that marquee completely engulfing it will not be selected. The green marquee selects anything, it's called the crossing marquee, anything that it touches. So like now, I want to select and I just click somewhere in the empty space and drag to my right. I do a blue marquee. So now it's touching practically everything, but not everything is engulfed within it. So right now, the only things that are not will not be selected are this one, this two, this three, four, five, and that one there. So once I click, it's only those guys that selected, except this ones that I counted, those six, because they were not engulfed in the blue marquee. The green marquee is clicking and moving towards the left. So that one picks anything that it touches. So even though it's just a fraction of a touch, it will be selected. So this is a crossing selection. It picks everything within it. So it's important to know which does what because it will help you. So the blue marquee goes towards the right and it picks only what it engulfs. Anything that is not engulfed, even though it touches it, it's not going to select it. You only select whatever is engulfed. What is engulfed? Only these three things here. This one isn't engulfed. That isn't. None of the other ones are engulfed. So it's only three things that will be selected. That's the blue. That's the blue marquee. So then the green marquee will pick whatever it touches, no matter how small of a touch it does, it's going to pick it. So wait, that is green is to the left and blue is to the right. Green is to the left. No. Green is to the left and blue is to the right. Green selects all and blue makes choices. So green picks whatever. Yep. It picks only the ones that fully inside green growth inside it. Yeah? Well, what direction you're driving? As long as it's in a left or right direction. So even if you are going upwards, you are either going left or right. Yeah, so those selection modes are quite important as well. So like I talked about visual styles, right now I'm using shades of gray. You can change to any of the visual styles to to help your software. Okay. So whatever I want. Just know that these guys are just, this is not their color. They will say, or how people say, this is not my face. This is not their face. Okay. Are we good with these guys? We're good with these guys, right? Sort of. Or, okay, I take that as a maybe. Okay. All right. Open a file. Go to file and open. That's your application menu, and open. Then drawing is a drawing file I want to open. I want to open one of the files that I gave you. To open drawing. So I don't even know which menu to do it. This is AutoCAD, right? I think yes, AutoCAD. Yes, yes, AutoCAD. What's the name again? I'm looking for the one to use. Okay, let me see which one to pick. Um, all right, pick simple 3D views because I want to simple 3D views under AutoCAD, whatever folder you have, you see simple 3D view under 3D X files or something like that. I can't remember. So it's wasting time. Sorry, no, sorry. Just dash me the system and yes, sir. Yeah. Mm. Then click open. Simple 3D tools. No. Class semester three something something something. See then then AutoCAD, 3D files, simple 3D. Before that now, what did you do there? Wait, why did you click? Was it open? File. What did you click? No, I say open file. Now what for you? And you're right beside me. Um, that's no. Don't you check. Check. This is where I put those files. I mean, that's semester three. Work there. Open now. Double click. 3D AutoCAD 3D exercise files. Simple 3D tools. Yeah. No, just click open. Okay. Yeah, click open. You have not clicked open. Yeah, that's waiting for me. Okay. Yes, sorry, sir. Okay, so I'm opening it. So I will just show, because of time, I will just show the first one. Next class we'll do these other ones, but I'll show you how, like how I draw, how I drew. I say how I drew this stuff. Please don't. Because mic is close to me, Abby. Okay. So these objects here, all this, we're using, of course, we just did 3D primitive drawing with our primitive drawings. The drawings, primitive drawings are drawings of already defined shapes. They're already defined, like a cube, a sphere, a pyramid, and they're already defined. But we can also create 3D surfaces from 2D objects. So that's why I created this. And that's why I said we should learn how to draw the lines, because I don't have to learn those lines again. Although I'll still show you how I did this, but please go and learn how to draw lines in all these line tools. There are plenty lines, and they have different ways of being drawn. So it's not the way we know. That's why I said we should go through it. So let's see this first one. That's what I will just show for today. So I'm just going to orbit around and zoom in to pan here, just like this. Remember to orbit around, shift middle mouse, pan is middle mouse drag, zoom is roll your middle mouse. So I want to generate 3D from this guy, right? I'm going to use the second set of options, not this one now. There are a few of them. So, but we'll start with this extrude, who has a friend called press pull. Press pull. So I'm going to show you the difference between extrude and press pull. Now, what an extrude will do is it will extrude a complete shape, a complete shape. So regardless that this circle is drawn and is colliding with this rectangle and this line, extrude will extrude the circle, not half of the circle. So if I click extrude now, the first option is going to tell me is to select the object I want to extrude. So that is the circle. Now, I can extrude either a solid object or a surface. The surface, like just the lines will come up, or you extrude a solid object. And that happens by once you click, you select the mode here. So you can type MO, enter, or you just come and click mode here from the command line. So for my mode here, I have solid, I have surface. So that means I can choose either. So let me do solid first. Select this guy, enter to actualize that that is what I want to extrude. And then you can see I'm extruding a surface. Let me switch to let me switch to shades of gray so I will see what I'm doing. So I will undo that, switch back to shades of gray. So I trigger up the extrude. Oh, sorry. So extrude. I click on this and I move. Click enter and I move and I create an extrusion of circle. So it was not it's not respecting the fact that there was a rectangle cut. It just marked that that circle, that whole circle, has to be extruded. So it doesn't pay attention to this. So if I did the extrude and change my mode to surface instead, okay, pick the object and enter, it's going to extrude the surface from the lines, not the solid object itself. Are you behaving like Teletubbies? Like Teletubbies. So that's extrude. That's how it works. Yeah. So it creates a surface. A surface basically in 3D is not a solid object. It's an object created from a spline or from a path. It's generated. So it's called a surface. Then a mesh or a polygon is something that is a solid object. So a mesh basically is a combination of vertices that form edges and faces, and those faces are stitched together. That's where we have a mesh. So, so that is how extrude works. So even if I wanted to extrude this rectangle, if I click on this rectangle and I press enter, it's going to extrude a solid object because solid is the default. And then I can do taper or direction or path or expression. Path means I'm extruding it, but there was a path I wanted to extrude along, and so it will extrude along that path. Or taper, the same thing we did with those cones and pyramids that I can change the thickness of the top side. So that's taper and stuff. So, but if I extrude a line, it is just a line. Remember, this is just a line. So if I extrude a line, I don't even need to change the mode. It will automatically extrude a surface because it's not, there's nothing connected, it's just a line. It's just there. so so that's yeah, just extrude a line. So if yeah, the solid, it makes it full, yeah. Yeah. So now if I want to create an extrusion that will specify like all these intersecting points, like all these ones as individual points. That's when I use the press pull. So if I go with the press pull now, the press pull can extrude lines or um, paths that are cut or trim paths. So for instance, as you see, as I hover over the circle, it's not picking the whole circle, but picking where there are intersecting lines. And so you can press pull any of these points here. So I can pick this and press pull upwards. I can pick this and press pull to a different point. Which one? The one you type, you press enter. In this command here. What did you type? No. Type mode. Click on see the mode there. The shortcut is MO. So just click it. So see solid there. Just click well, as you have clicked it's on solid. So just press enter. Mhm. You can change from wireframe. You know it's on wireframe. That presents 2D wireframe. So when you have 2D wireframe written there, you changed any of the views. Okay, so I see how press code is working, right? It's basically just creating alternate extrusions from different levels. Good. So it's basic. That's just what it does. The press pull, and unlike the extrude, the press pull remains active until you press enter. So you can keep press pulling and press pulling and press pulling. So basically, like if I click this press pull, it's still active until I determine that I'm done. So after I'm done, I have to press enter. No, when you click on mode, the shortcuts for them will come up. Just type that shortcut and press enter. The shortcut is the one the letter highlighted in blue. Mm, yeah. So this is the press pull. Another benefit the press pull has over the extrude is the press pull can also be used to create an intrusion or like a hole, a cutout from the object. So for instance, I wanted to make a hole on this, any of these surfaces here. Maybe I take my circle here and click to drag that point, click to drag here. And I want to make two holes here with my press pull. If I click here, obviously going up will create an extrusion. For the press pull to create an intrusion, go the other way around. That's the reverse. So, and click to make a hole, click to make a hole. So that's how the press pull works. So you can use it to create a hole in your object. Okay. All right, I'm going to stop here today. I'm going to stop here today. Tomorrow we'll continue from here and then move up. The exercise files I've done, we'll do some stuff, and then I will bring a picture, one of the most basic things that we draw in AutoCAD for us to draw. Yes, so we'll have to construct it using our dynamic UCS and all this 3D stuffs. Okay, are we cool? Right. So any questions you have, you can ask tomorrow. But I want you to go over this stuff, what we